All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to class 1 of Windows Server Administration. Today, we're going to be looking at network infrastructures. I'll also show us how to set up our virtualization software so we can begin to create machines inside our host, inside our main machine. So I know the faculty leaders done well with the explanations. What I also do now is I'll try and uh, build on that for the sake of the guys in our midst that does not have the background yet. Okay, so network. I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, network infrastructure. Okay, so Mr. Akin has said it that everything you're doing when it comes to computer is networking. All right, and this is where the world we are now is currently. You're networking everywhere. It is now a global village more than it ever was. All right, you are here listening to other persons, maybe thousands of kilometers away from you across the ocean. All right, you are in your office, and then all the other branch offices across the 7 continents of the earth, they are connecting, doing meeting in real time. Okay, what everybody is doing is networking. So whenever it consists of 2 or more computers that are linked together in order for them to share resources. I'll take that again. 2 or more computers, or let me say devices, because right now it is not only computers. You can use your phone to connect, you can use your tablet, you can use your pad to connect, right? You can even connect in front of a POS or something. When you have 2 or more gadget devices linked together and they share resources such as printers, they share shared networks, they exchange files, right? And they allow electronic communications. You have networked them together. All right. So the computers on the network or the devices on the network can be linked through many things, which Oga has mentioned. You can use cables, you can use telephone lines, you can use radio waves, you can use satellites, you can use infrared beams. Okay, so I would like to ask us to pick on our knowledge from what we picked during Oga's session. The ones you link without physical cable or lines, what will it be among these ones I want to mention? Radio waves, infrared light beams, telephone lines. So your so-called wireless, which one of these enables them to be networked? Telephone lines, radio waves, which one of these two?
Radio waves.
All right, thank you. So it's as simple as that. All right, and then apart from network, you also have server. I just talked about it. Is a computer, or let me break it down, hardware and software that provides the function for other computers, other devices, and you call them what? What do you call them? Those that servers serve, what do you call them? You guys have dwelt a lot on it during the class. I just want to see, because the essence of training is not just for you to be able to click and click and click. You must be able also to understand the terminologies. So by the end of 1 month, to those of us that have zero background in IT, by the end of the month, we should be able to use the right terminology. Our diction as an IT specialist would have changed. All right, so that's why this foundation is necessary. You now understand what network is. I've talked about server that it is an hardware and also a software. To every hardware, they are being managed or they are made accessible or usable via a software. Is there anybody that doesn't understand what an hardware is? Your computer, your phone, your tablet, those are hardwares. All right. The programs on it that enables those devices to interact with you, they are called softwares. It's as simple as that. Now, if I now say a server is a piece of computer hardware and software, right? Because most literatures online, you will see they call them hardware. It is not only an hardware. There's also a software because there is something driving that hardware, and that is a software, right? That provides the function for other devices. Those other devices, what are they called? It's part of the first two things that you learned in class earlier today. Does anybody remember? If I say it now, all of you will be like, oh, wow. You said?
Windows.
No.
Operating systems.
No. Keep on.
Can you
repeat the question, please?
All right. So softwares, they serve other programs. All right. They provide functionality for other devices. Those other devices, what are they called? They are called clients.
Oh.
So yeah, I was expecting that. All right. So your servers, they serve clients. All right. So your server operating system, they are built, they are developed so that they can provide functionalities to clients. All right. So it's just like in an hotel, you have a waiter or someone serving you. Who is the person serving? Customers, isn't it?
Yes.
So in IT, you call them clients. All right. So let's begin to build on those basics. You already know what area LAN is, local area network. All right. So has anybody heard of SOHO before? Small office or home office? Okay, so you have, okay, so many of us now right in our homes, what we probably have is a SOHO. Okay, so let me begin to use a computer to explain now. So you have coming. Okay. You have a computer here, right? Let's say you also have another one here. Am I audible enough? Is everybody following me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So let's say now you have here, say you have your laptop. The first one you have is your desktop. Now you have your laptop. This is your keyboard. This is your screen. What else can we add to it? Can we add a printer? Can we add a printer? So this is a physical infrastructure, okay? And here you have, okay, so this is a cable connecting this. You have a cable also connecting, okay. Let's put another computer here, right? So can I erase this? Of course. Now let's call this one, and let's also call it our server, right? From the server here, it comes to this place. So it is from here that you now have distribution to this point, distribution to your printer, distribution to another client, distribution to this point. All right. Situations like this, where you just have few clients, maybe say maximum of 10. By client, I mean both your computer and your printer and your fax machine, right? And a server, but they are within a network. So you have to pardon my drawing. They are within a network, right? This is called SOHO. SOHO means small office, home office. Right, just one or two. You have like a maximum of 10 computers. Many of us already have SOHO in our home, right? You have your modem, okay, connected to your laptop. Let's say you also have another PC. This time is a desktop. You have it on in your study, and probably you have your modem enables a WLAN, that means wireless LAN. You can also give password to your wife or to your husband or to your children. Okay, and you have a central printer where you can send via the network to the printer to print. That is a SOHO. Okay, and what makes you know it is a SOHO is you have a server here. What do you call this?
Switch.
Thank you, sir. You have a switch, okay, which helps you to distribute communication coming from this server to the rest of of the computers, the devices on the network. All right, to your fax as well. All right, so this is a SOHO. You can also have a SOHO that doesn't have cables like this, whereby it's all going to be wireless. And you can also have an hybrid, both cable and wireless. All right. Now, by the time you begin to, let us say what we have here is A. So let us say this is Chase Bank in California. By the time you have another one here, okay, you have another one here. So configurations you have here, you have it here and here as well. Okay, you now need to connect from here to here, from here to here. All these things now is no longer coming. All this is no longer SOHO. It is now what you called your what? What's the name that engineer can call it in class?
Enterprise.
Thank you, an enterprise. Okay, that is when you will now need a device somewhere here so that from that device, communications goes from the domain. All these things now, they are in a domain. Let's say this is www.chasebank.com. All right, this is all domain. It goes from here to here. This one now helps you to distribute it to other peer-to-peer or to other SOHOs. Okay. So this device here is called what?
Access point.
Oh, yes. So access point is not really a device. It is configured on something. And what's that thing called?
Cloud.
You said LAN?
Cloud.
No, not cloud. Cloud is not a device. Cloud is of course, can you see it? You cannot see cloud now, can you?
No, we can't.
Yeah, but
You mean the router?
Thank you very much, ma'am. A router. All right, so that will now lead me to what's the difference between a router here that allows the head office to share with branch offices spread across the state, and the switch here that allows a server in the head office to share to clients within the head office. This is a switch here, this is a router here. Can anybody give us, does anybody want to try?
The switch is for wired network. The router is for wireless.
Yeah, that's well, you tried, okay, but this
The
router,
switch is
they are
the
both
switch.
for, I'm showing you cable. These are cables. These are Ethernet cables, right? They could
Okay.
be, yeah. So
The switch is for the corporate, while the router is for the enterprise.
yeah,
I would
close.
say- I would say both of them are doing the same thing, but just that one is local and the other one is enterprise.
All right, so they are similar. So this is the basic thing for you to be able to differentiate it. A switch allows you to network systems, to connect systems within the network. All right, within what? Within the network. That's a switch. Now, a router helps communication between networks. This is a network here of computers. This is a network of computer here. This is a network of computer here. All right. So the moment you hear router, just remove your mind from Soho. It is no longer a small office, home office. Just put your mind on what? Enterprise. Immediately, corporate. So that means what you are saying is, the moment you hear a router in the system or in a network, know that it is no longer a SOHO. A SOHO is small. You don't need a router. A switch will do that job for you. But the moment you put a router, and this is where you configure your access points. This is where you also configure your gateways. This is where you configure security. And these are the things you will learn in this class. And we're going to break it down to basics for you that by the time we've done 1 month, all of us will be flowing on the same frequency. We'll be discussing these things as though you've been in it for years. All right, so I just need us to be attentive. I also need our commitment to do our labs. By labs, I mean to do practices when we begin to learn them together. All right, so
I have a question.
Please go ahead, sir.
So so just to sort of generalize what you said for a switch is just to connect within one network, within a network.
Yes,
Why
connect computers within the network. Yeah.
Okay, so the router connects different networks.
Exactly, between your network and another network or to the internet.
Okay.
All right. So you can have internet here. Let's use cloud to represent that. You can have internet here. Let's use cloud to represent that. And now these three, A, B, and C, all right? There's a router configured here, okay, that helps movement of information. You call it packets or data, all right? So let us move this router. Let's join it together. So this is our router configured here, such that B and C are able to communicate with A via this router, but they are in the same domain. Okay, as we go on, you will understand what the domain is. All right, so just follow me with this diagram. However, A or B or C, or the three of them might also want to connect with the network of another company or another place. So this is Chase Bank. They might want to connect with the pension, the IRA, all right, their server as well. There's also router available. This router also does that. So your router helps you to communicate between two or more networks, right? Devices on the network connect multiple networks together. That's what router does. But what your switch does is they connect devices such as computers, printer, server on the network. Are you picking my words? On the network is different from between two or more networks. Your switch is for on the network, on one network. Okay. You have a switch within here. You have a switch within here. But the moment you begin to talk about A connecting to B, then you must introduce a router. Are we in class?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. The IRA, which you mentioned, because from what we're looking at, I can see A, B, and C are in the same domain but different ports.
Yes.
And then the router is connecting all of them. What if the IRA is in a different, let's say, not in the same domain with them? Does this router in connecting A, B, and C still connect with?
So what we are saying is the device physically, okay, that allows this your own domain, right? Let's call it www.iten.com to connect with, say, IRA somewhere here is still your router. Okay. Now, in a physical setting, all these things you can feel and touch them. You can touch your cable within this office, all right? This one, A and C, could be connecting, say, in those days of radio waves, you will mount a mast on a building here to face, okay, so this is A to C, right? Your simple atlas to face here, which is what? This is north, isn't it? This is west. This radio here will face northwest. The radio here, we face what? This is east, this is south. We face what? Southeast. So this radio here, they will be able to what? To share information. In those days, in these days now, you hear about laying cable across the ocean, or you have fiber cables. Have you had the fiber cables before?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they no longer use radios facing each other, because if there's a blockage somewhere here, it blocks the transmission via radio waves. You're not here of cables. Okay. But these are all physical arrangements. You can see and touch them. All right. Now, what we are saying is the world has gone to the point where you can move all these things now, all these things into the cloud, such that when you enter your office tomorrow morning, you just carry your laptop alone and connect your laptop to the wireless. You're not even seeing it. You just turn your Wi-Fi of your computer on, you connect with the wireless, and you're able to communicate. So all the router, all the switch, all the cable, everything has been what? Has been put in cloud, has been configured in cloud. Isn't that wonderful? And that's the technology we want to learn, virtualization. All right. But before we go to that, we need all of us to understand the basics, so that when you begin to see them in virtualization, you will appreciate them. And if there are challenges, you'll be able to troubleshoot because you have the prerequisite knowledge. So assuming A and B are not communicating, all right, you will not be thinking maybe because B keyboard is not working. No, you'll be thinking along the right direction. Like, first, is there a cable connecting them? We will show you when we get to virtualization how to enable cable connection. So instead of you like the CCNA network people drawing cable from one office to another, no, everything has been what? Virtualized. Everything in cloud. Any question before we move on?
I understand it. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? All right, so let's move on. Now, this is everything together. What I was trying to explain that brought us to here is this network infrastructure. So please permit me to erase so we can now begin to build on what we've learned. All right. Network infrastructure. It refers to all the resources of a network that make the network or the internet connection or the management or business operations or communication possible. I'll take that again. When you hear network infrastructure, it means everything that makes connectivity, the management of it, business operations, and communications possible. So when I say that, then you can now begin to think widely of many things. You can begin to see network infrastructure comprises of hardware, softwares, systems and devices, and it enables computing and communication between computers, between the servers, between the users, between services, between applications. Your POS is the network infrastructure. The computer in front of you, it is one. The software that drives that POS, the software that drives your computer, it is one of it. All right. So if I were to ask you now, what are the basic classification you can give network infrastructure? What will you say? Are we in class?
Hardware, softwares,
Thank you.
devices.
That, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying this. Hardware, softwares, and what? You can call them network services. All right. So all those ones you've been mentioning when engineer Akin asked us, they were all what? They are all hardwares.
Oh, hardware.
And that's a component of network infrastructure. It doesn't end there. When you say your computer, the one in front of you, the host, your machine, your desktop, your server, your even client computers, your routers, your switches, right? Your LAN card, your wireless access points, WAP, your Ethernet cable. Those are the hardware component of network infrastructures. Can we begin to guess what the software component could be? Can you give me?
Windows operating system.
God bless you, sir. Thank you. Windows operating system. What else? Your servers. Does anybody want to contest that? Your server. Do you remember I said your server has two components as well? The hardware, the machine, and the software that is driving it. All right. What else can we think about? How about your firewall? Who has not heard about firewall before?
I've not heard about firewall before.
Okay, so a firewall is a network security system. A firewall is just like the security you put around your system. Okay, in countries in Africa, they have barbed wires on their fences just to safeguard the house. Okay, so firewall is like a network security system. It is not, you cannot see it, you cannot touch it. It's a software, it's a program that is written. Okay, and what it helps is it helps to keep viruses, malicious malwares, viruses away from either your system or your network. Okay, so it monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on what you have set it on. So I can say, okay, so if you cannot verify the certificate of an incoming traffic, don't let it come in. Or I have a set of certificates already. We will get the certificate when we begin to build our simple IRS, our web servers, and I will show you. All right. I can say, okay, so if they are not on this certificate list, don't allow it to come in. Have you tried to access a website and it's telling you this website cannot be trusted? Do you want to continue or not? Has anybody experienced that?
Yes.
So what is in play in that situation is that they've set some level of security, and that system is called firewall.
Okay.
All right. Even your computer, that's a firewall. Okay. Your antivirus, that's what it does. It builds a firewall around your computer such that malwares, phishers, they are not able to see your system. If they come near, they will not be able to access it and break in. All right. Network security applications. I had someone said that he is into network cloud security, right? Am I correct? Okay, those applications, they are part of network infrastructure as well. They are programs designed to protect usability and integrity of your network, like Cisco. Okay, so two components we already know now of the network infrastructure is what? Hardware and software. You have the other component, which is network services. Okay, network services are also like softwares, but this time around they offer specific services, like your IP addressing. Has anybody heard of IP addressing, or who hasn't heard about IP address before? IP means internet protocol. So for network infrastructure, you have your hardware, you have your software, and you have your network service, right? For your hardware, you talk about your computers, you talk about your servers. Okay, let's just leave computer as servers. You talk about your routers, talk about your switches, talk about your LAN cables, right? Talk about your POS, talk about your gadgets, right? You can also be, let's leave computers and gadgets together, okay? By your softwares now, you talk about your operating system. Can you give me operating systems that you know?
Windows 10.
Thank you. What else? Which other one? Talk about your firewall. Talk about security applications. All right. So by this is
About drivers.
these are your softwares, right? Your firewall. I can already put firewall here. So when you talk about network services now as component of net infrastructure, you talk about your IP addressing, okay? You talk about your satellites, if you still use them, some don't use them now. You talk about your wireless protocols, okay? You must have heard of HTTP. Even if you've not heard of them, we'll get to them in this class and you break them down. All right. So I was asking the OS that you know, your Windows OS, either for server or for client. Okay, the OS for Apple, what's it called?
Linux.
No. I know you know it. When I mention it now, you still say, oh, really? Operating system, that's what OS is. So what operating system does your iPhone runs on?
iOS.
Thank you very much, sir. How about your MacBook? What does it run? What does it run on? Mac OS.
Mac OS.
Yeah.
macOS.
Yes. So please let me back up quickly. The person that said Linux is an OS, you are right. But I was asking which one does Apple run on?
Okay.
All right. So you're right to say Linux and OS, yes. Just as you can say Windows. All right. So Microsoft, which OS does it run on?
Windows.
Thank you, Windows. All right. So, and there are other private OS as well. All right. The other private OS, Oracle is an OS.
Android.
Oh, thank you very much. How can we not say that? Just as you have iOS for Apple devices and mobile devices, you also have Android. Okay. I'm not sure if Windows is still doing well with their Windows mobile device. I know they have built for their phones as well. Yeah. So that's it. So as we have these things, okay, these ones, they are softwares. You cannot touch them. Okay. These ones, they are hardwares. All right. These ones enable these ones to function properly. So as you have all these things, so engineer can say, you can say on-premise. On-premise means in your own company, your own office. So you have the computers, you have the routers, you have what they call server room. Has anybody heard of that before? Server room, and when you get there, you see lights, plenty lights blinking, you see cables connected to switches, you see yellow lights blinking. As you have them physically like this, you can have them in a virtual environment. Virtual environment, that's what takes us to virtualization. Okay, so before we enter virtualization, does anybody need clarification? So that, am I going too fast? Do you think my pace is okay with you? Any feedbacks, please? Are we in class?
It's okay for me.
All right. So virtualization is a simple as it called process of running a virtual instance of a computer or a network system in a layer abstracted from the actual hardware. So you have, I'm coming. You have your PC here, and inside this PC, there is a technology that can help you create the likes of this PC, but in this time, virtual machines, that's what they call it, VMs, virtual machines in a physical machine. All right, virtual machines in a physical machine. So the computer you have in front of you, you can create 2, 3, 4 of it inside that your computer. And those ones can run on different OS apart from the one your computer is running. So either your computer is running on Windows OS currently, or those of you using MacBook is using Mac OS, right? But you can enable virtualization such that in that computer, you can have another machine, but this time it is virtual. That's why you call it VMs. Running Windows, running Linux, running any other one. Okay. Can you see my Oracle virtual? Okay, you cannot see. I'm only sharing my white screen. I'll share that one very soon. So when we say virtualization, is the process of running a virtual instance of a computer or a network system in a layer abstracted from the actual hardware. And the technology that enables that is called hypervisor. All right, hypervisor. So hypervisor is interface with the hardware, and it allows operators, which is you and I, to split a system into a separate, distinct, and secure environment. It allows you to split this your computer. You can see my mouse hovering on this computer, right? Hypervisor allows you to split it into a separate, distinct, and secure environment known as virtual machines, such that right inside this computer, you can have 3 other computers, and what is happening in one doesn't affect the other. Okay, just that they are all depending on the resources of your computer, your physical computer. By resources, I mean 3 things: your hardware, that is your storage; your CPU, that is your motherboard or your CPU. CPU is central processing unit. So when you say Core i5 or Core i3, or you say Pentium M or Pentium 4, they're referring to your processor. Okay, so your virtual machines are using 3 resources from your hosts from your physical machine. And these three are your hard drive, your CPU, and your RAM. So the one that I'm trying to remember the name now. I think I saw the name the other time, but the person that said, the lady that said that did you say 8 gig?
Yes, I said 8 gig.
Please, what's the name, ma'am?
It's HP Pavilion.
I mean your name.
My name,
Yeah.
Lara.
All right. So
Lara.
when Miss Lara said 8 gig, she was referring to the size of our RAM. All right. I would expect that the size of our hard disk, of our PC's hard disk, will start from something like 64 gig and above. These days, you have up to 2 terabytes, 2 TB. Okay, so are you using a MacBook or an HP?
I don't know. I don't. I just use HP.
Okay, so if it
Pavilion.
is HP, that means it is not an Apple device. So
No.
so if it is HP, your RAM should be around 500 gig
Yeah.
or one terabyte or something. Okay, so the resources we're going to be using, or the resources your virtual machines will be using from your host, which is your physical machine, for it to run properly, or for them to run properly if there are more than one. 3 things: your CPU, your RAM, and your hard disk.
So where do they fall into amongst this network infrastructure? Is it in the software, the hardware, or the network service?
Okay, so your hypervisor is a software.
Okay.
So where will your hard disk, CPU, and RAM fall in?
The RAM will fall in the software.
No, sir. Your RAM is physical. It's just that you are not seeing it. They call them peripheral.
Okay. I can't see it though.
Yeah, of course, because you cannot see it does not mean it's a software. All right, but if you open up a computer, I can show you what the RAM is. Okay, so maybe after the class, I'll post live pictures of a RAM for you. But together, you don't call them separately. You don't call them a hardware. You call them computers because they are all made together. They are what is making your computer in front of you function right now. All right. So who can tell me what a virtual machine is? Can someone help us from what I've said so far? What a virtual machine is?
I mean, I may not be able to give a definition of the way you gave it, though, but I can give some sort of, okay,
Let's try.
like virtual machine is sort of enables us to operate different operating systems into one sort of a computer hardware or something.
So what you have just defined is virtualization, the technology that helps you to create virtual machines.
Okay.
All right. So I like the understanding you're having. That technology is called virtualization. Okay, that you are able to create machines, more than 1 or 2 machines in a physical machine. Okay, that is virtualization. All right. Now, virtual machine itself, it is that machine, okay, that is created within a physical machine. All right. It is separate, it is distinct, and it is in a more secure environment from the physical machine, but it is still within your physical machine. When we begin to do it, you will understand properly. I just want to give us this background. Now, there are 2 types of hypervisors. There is the type 1 hypervisor and there is the type 2 hypervisor. Okay, so this is your computer. Okay, now during this class, at the beginning, I said to every computer hardware, there is a what?
It's a software.
What does the software helps you to do?
Controls the hardware.
Thank you. It helps you to interact with that hardware. Now, when they make they manufacture or make a laptop or a desktop or a phone, okay, something is installed on it that enables all other peripherals of that thing to work. It is a software and it is an hypervisor and it is called type 1 hypervisor. So the hypervisor that enables your keyboard to work, that enables your screen, that enables your mouse pad or your mouse, they are type 1 hypervisors. They are also called bare metal. They are the one that is installed directly on the system. Your bare metal hypervisor. That's the other name for it. Type 1 hypervisor are your bare metal hypervisor. So it is that hypervisor that allows that your physical computer, right, to interact with other softwares you are installing on it. When you buy a computer, either it is pre-installed or you install it on it, it must have an OS. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So if you are using non-Apple computer, if you're not using a MacBook, other OS that are available, the most common one is Windows. So it is because you have a type 1 hypervisor on that computer.
Okay.
That's why you are able to run Windows on it. All right. You cannot run Windows on a bare metal. All right. So Windows is able to use your computer's mouse. Okay. When you are making input, when you are typing on your keyboard, Windows is your Microsoft Office, your Word, okay, your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Outlook, they are able to function because you already have a type 1 hypervisor. They are called them bare metal. The first software that is installed on the system before you begin to install all other software, be it your Windows, be it your Peachtree, be it your SPSS, be it your Python, that enables every other softwares or every other add-ons or devices like your printer, like your flash drive, like your Bluetooth device to communicate with that computer. That software is called type 1 hypervisor. The other name is called bare metal hypervisor. Is that clear? Or do I need to explain again? Are we in class?
Yes, it's good for me.
I need every other person.
Let me ask a question again.
Please.
Do you mean that you said the type 1 hypervisor, it enables the mouse, the keyboard to work? Is it installed in the computer or is it installed in the keyboard? I don't really understand.
It is installed on your motherboard. Your
Which one is
CPU.
motherboard?
Your
Okay, my
CPU. That's
Okay.
your motherboard, central processing unit. It is installed on it. And that is why it enables the software that drives your mouse to work.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your CPU. Okay, I'm coming. This is your central processing unit, right? This is your keyboard. No, sorry. Let me back up. That's not your CPU. Okay. This is your CPU. This one is your monitor. Okay. I'm using this so that you can have clear understanding because your laptop, everything is together. All right.
Yes.
This is your monitor. What am I writing? I need a drawing. Okay, so this is your monitor and this is your keyboard. Okay, you can also have one here and call it your what?
Mouse.
Thank you. Your mouse. All right. There is a type 1 hypervisor that is installed on this thing, right? That is enabling that when you connect your monitor to this place, it is seeing it as a monitor and not as a wristwatch. Okay, when you connect your keyboard here, it's seeing it as a what? As a keyboard, and not as a mouse. When you connect your mouse, that software is called type 1 hypervisor. It is also called a bare metal because it is installed, it is the one that you have on the hardware. So let me say you have, I'm coming now. Let's say you have hardware here. Okay. If this is your hardware, what you have next, before you begin to have, okay, so let me just take my time to put it. And then you have this. Between this hardware and your OS, there's something that is allowing this, your hardware, to communicate with your OS, your operating system. And this is this is the thing. And it is called what? It is called type 1 hypervisor. Coming.
Can you spell the bare metal?
Type 1 hypervisor or bare metal, right? Or type 1, let me move it. Type 1 or bare metal hypervisor. That's what you call it. All right. So it is what is enabling this OS, right? And other softwares to connect with your, to communicate with your what? With your hardware. Now, for the IT savvy person, there is the popular software that helps your mouse to run on your laptop. You must have seen it before. It's called Synaptics. Has anybody heard that before? So
Nope.
you go to Google and type Synaptics. It is a type of software that enables the mouse of your laptop, right, to function. If you go and delete that Synaptics, your mouse will not be able to. You will be moving your finger over the mouse. It will not work. Right? There is also the software that drives your printer when you connect it to your PC. Are you aware? So if that software is not installed, you cannot use your PC, even if you connect it. Are you following me?
Yes.
Now, those softwares, they can be likened to operating systems. So there is a software called type 1 or bare metal hypervisor that allows the communication, smooth communication between the OS and your hardware, your computer. Without it, you will not be able to have a laptop. They are always pre-installed to every computer in the market. Type 1 hypervisors. All right, examples of them, you have the Microsoft Hyper-V. For Xbox, you have Xbox One system. Some you have the XCP, all right. Some you have them as AMD. You must have seen AMD before. All right. Now, There is the other type of hypervisor, type 2 hypervisors. Now, type 2 hypervisor is the virtualization software. It is installed on top of OS. You have type 2 Hyper-V. All right, so type 2 Hyper-V is actually the one that allows you to create multiple virtual machines from your computer. Type 1 hypervisor or bare metal hypervisor. So you have your computer, okay? It is what? It is plain. It is plain. The software that helps other software you are bringing into that computer to run well is your type 1 hypervisor. All right, but your type 2 hypervisor is not installed on the bare metal. It is installed on an already running operating system, which allows you to create virtual machines. All right, so this basic explanation now, what is the difference between type 1 and type 2 hypervisors?
To my own understanding, type 2 hypervisor is, I'm liking it to be our laptop in which we are going to put the virtual machine on.
No, it's not a laptop.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to try?
Let me try.
Please.
The type 1 hypervisor allows the operating system to connect with the hardware.
Thank you.
Why the type 2?
What other name can you call it?
Bare metal.
All right.
Type 1 bare metal hypervisor.
Yeah.
Right. Why the type 2 hypervisor is installed on top of the operating system.
Exactly.
And the type 1 hypervisor allows, let's say example of the CPU, the monitor and the keyboard.
Yeah.
It is installed in the CPU that allows the keyboard and the mouse to work properly, to function properly.
Thank you.
Why this type 2 hypervisor is installed on the operating system.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can.
Yeah. Does anybody have any question or doesn't understand that simple analogy?
For me to understand, the type 2 hypervisor can never work without the existence of type 1 hypervisor.
In fact, nothing will work without the existence of type 1 hypervisor. Even your OS will not work, sir.
Okay.
If you don't have a type 1 hypervisor on your bare metal, it will not work.
So generally, the type 2 hypervisor is just mainly for creating virtual machines in the computer.
No, type 2. Type 2. That's
type 2, yes.
Yes.
That's just the main function of it.
Exactly. That's just the function of it. But your type 1 hypervisor is just to make your computer, your computers are metals.
Yes.
They are bare metal. To make it usable. That's what we are trying to say. With that type 1 hypervisor, your computer is not usable.
To make it come alive.
Exactly. Thank you. So your OS, your type 2, none of them will work. It will not even be able to see anything. Right? It will not be able to see anything at all. You connect your USB, nothing is coming, nothing is working. Type 1 hypervisor is, and those kind of software, we call them low level languages. Okay, low level languages. The kind of software developers that work at that level, these are the kind that you see they don't bath for 3 days. They just bury their head developing it. It's not, Python is simple now. In 2 months, you sit with Python, you have at least the basic thing. You can be able to, in fact, there are some languages these days that in 1 week, you are writing simple ones. But low-level languages, oh Lord have mercy. All right, because they are dealing with binaries, 1 zeros, 1 zeros, 1 0. How many of ones do I do? Man, they are also the type that you see that work in data centers. All right, because there are no OS in data centers. Okay, after all the plenty storage devices in data centers, what you have next is the type 1 hypervisor that is running them. All right. So I think this explanation is basic enough. Does anybody in class has any issue with it? Can we move on? So we're going into
Sir,
virtualization.
can you? Oh my God. I'm so sorry, please.
No problem. Please go ahead.
Please, can you go back a little bit to the type 1 and type 2 hypervisor?
Okay. So type 1 hypervisors are programs or softwares that allows your computer to be usable. It creates an environment for you to run operating system on your computer. It brings your computer alive. They are native or bare metal hypervisors. They run directly on your computer's hardware for you to be able to control that hardware. All right. The reason you press the on button of your computer and it comes alive is not because you have your Windows OS. It's because you have your type 1 hypervisor on it.
Yeah.
Are you getting? The reason why you press your Wi-Fi button so that you can turn on or turn off your Wi-Fi on your computer is because you have type 1 hypervisors. Okay.
Yes.
So they had the hypervisors that run current directly on your host hardware to control them. Examples are Microsoft Hyper-V,
Okay.
that Windows is using, okay, on all computers that allows Microsoft, okay. You have the Xbox One system, you have the VMware ESXi, you have the Oracle Virtual Machine Server, okay. The people in data centers, if it is Amazon data centers or Google data centers, they have their own kind of hypervisors. It helps you to control the hardware. All right. Now, type 2 hypervisors, they are hosted hypervisors. Okay. They are abstract guest operating systems. They are run on operating systems for you to control, for you to be able to create virtual machines. Do you get now? So
Yes,
look
sir.
at this diagram. This is your type 1 hypervisor here.
Yeah.
This is your type 1 hypervisor here. Okay. It is running on your, this is your hardware, this is your computer, this is your laptop, this is your tablet, this is your whatever device you have. So what is enabling you to be able to control this hardware? All right. When you turn it from horizontal to vertical and the screen also goes with it like that, auto orientation, right, is because you have a type 1 hypervisor. All right. It is because you have a type 1 hypervisor you are able to run operating system on this hardware. So, such that this operating system can now use your hardware keyboard, you can use your hardware mouse, you can use your hardware printer because you have type 1 hypervisor. Without this one, then remove every other thing above it. This will not work. All right. Okay. Now on your OS is where you have the type 2 hypervisor.
Okay.
All right. On your OS, you have type 2. This type 2 hypervisor is what we are learning. It is the technology that allows you to create virtual machines from this OS.
Okay.
Except if you already have Windows on your computer, on your host, you cannot have Linux OS again on it.
Okay.
Do you agree? You cannot have it. But with this type 2 hypervisor installed on this thing, this hypervisor helps you to create, remember when I said it, a separate distinct and secure environment so that you can create other machines. But this time they are called what? Virtual machines. This is a physical machine hardware. All right, this is a computer. But here, what you have are what? Virtual machines. You can run a Windows OS. You can also run a Microsoft OS. Okay. So let me come in. New share my whole screen. Excellent. So look at this now. This is Oracle Virtual Machine Virtualbox Manager. Can we see this?
Yes, we can.
All right. So this is a type 2 hypervisor. See it here on my desktop. Oracle Virtual Machine Virtualbox. It is a type 2 hypervisor. All right. And it is the one that is allowing me to run all this. These are virtual machines. This is Windows 10. That is a server. Sorry, this is a client virtual machine, a client VM. This is a server. All right. This is Linux. This is CentOS Linux, right? So this software type 2 hypervisor, but this time we are using Oracle virtual machines. Windows have their kind too, Hyper-V, type 2 Hyper-V, all right? This software is what is enabling me to be able to run other. If I click run now on this client, if I start it, all right, what you will see is the same thing you will see when you just put on your computer. So it means I now have a computer inside the computer. But this time it is called virtual machine. They are VMs. Are we in class? Can you see?
Yes.
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 So did you see how it is coming up? It's as though I'm trying to put up my computer. All right. So when you get to a place now, it will ask me for password normally, but let's not flog it too much. We'll get to that point. Power off. Okay. So we've been able to look at network infrastructure. We've been able to look at everything moving into cloud, and I've been able also to explain to us virtualization, and I've been able to tell us the technology that allows that to happen. Okay, type 2 hypervisor, and now cloud. Okay, so Oga has explained cloud. I also buttress on that. So you've had people saying cloud computing, cloud storage. So what is it? Go. Cloud is the internet. Cloud is the what? The internet. So specifically, all the things you can access remotely over the internet, they are all what? Cloud. And you've been using cloud all this while. Your Gmail, Google Mail, your Hotmail, your Yahoo Mail, they are all in the cloud. All right. So some of you have saved your CVs, your certificates in your mail, so that anywhere you are, you can what? You can call it up. That's cloud storage. All right. So where the world is going to now, and where I will say congratulations, because you have brought yourself down. You brought yourself down to get a skill that is driving the world now, which is cloud. Right. And with what we have now, it is very, very unsaturated. All right. As many as whatever you might have heard about cloud, it is still undersaturated. There is still a lot of room for many things to happen. Okay, it is where the world is going. All right. The top 5 companies in the world, they are not even producing any goods. So they are not like the IOCs, and they're not like the Shell, the SPDC, the Mobil, they're not like the Chevron. Okay, they are the likes of Twitter, they're the likes of Amazon, they're the likes of Facebook, they are the likes of, all right. And everything they are dealing with is in cloud, networking and data management. All right. So it refers to servers that are accessed over the internet, softwares and databases that run on those servers. They are all cloud. Okay, so it's not a big word like that. All right. So I read of a minister in one of the African nations that they were trying to convince them to move all their governmental whatever into cloud, such that this issue of snake is swallowing money, offices are getting burned, and papers, documents are not be able to trace because offices are getting burned. Okay. And imagine one of the house, no, not a minister now, the house committee chairman in charge of technology. They were trying to make the presentation to them cloud. And I was like, what do you mean cloud? What's if rain falls? Is that not the problem? Are we not going to lose all the government data? I just raised my hand. I was like, Jesus, how did we get to this point in Africa? Obviously, they have made someone house committee chairman on the internet and whatever, and doesn't even know what cloud is. So he's thinking when we say move it to cloud, like we'll just go and suspend it somewhere in the heaven or in the atmosphere above us. All right, but you can't blame them. What they don't know, they don't know. All right, so why do you use cloud? File storage, just as most of you have moved files. Okay, so the pictures you have on your Instagram accounts now, where are they? Are they resident on your device? No. Even though you have them on your device, if you delete the one on your device, once you log in into Instagram, will you not see it there? They are there. You have them for storage. Okay. Early 2019, I moved all my old pictures that I would like to see when I was 1, 2, 3 decades ago. I moved them to Google. Google is giving everybody, I think, 1 or 10 gig of free storage. Right, that's cloud. You use it for storage. You use it for file sharing. Right, like what we are doing now, we're doing it over the cloud. You use it to back up data. You use cloud for mobile and web applications. Where do you think your Facebook is? In the cloud. Mobile applications, the ones you're using on your phone, your cash app, correct? Mobile applications. However, to everything you have in cloud, this is taking me to the next thing. To everything, I mean everything you have in cloud, they are resident somewhere, contained in a storage facility somewhere. What do you call that storage facility? Sir?
Cloud.
Data center.
Thank you, sir. Data center. To everything. So as you have loaded all your pre-wedding pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, do you think they're just hanging in the atmosphere? If you lose the one you have on your computer, okay, you go into Facebook, you can download them to your computer back, isn't it? But those ones you loaded in your Instagram or your Twitter, whatever you put them, do you think they're just hanging in the atmosphere? No, they are being held somewhere that you don't know. And those places are called what? Data center. Okay, they are called data center. So the data center is an industrial, highly secured building built with just one specific purpose. Now, one job data center gets to ensure that computer servers with digital applications, they run uninterruptible 365 days of a year, 7 days of a week, 24 hours of a day. There is nothing like cloud if there's no data center. Because the software driving that mobile application is resident, that server driving that mobile application is resident on a computer somewhere. Are you with me? Just as you have, are we in class?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Just as you have your hard drive on your laptop, either hard disk drive or solid state drive on your laptop, such that when you work on a proposal, you save it on your laptop. The same thing, when you now save that proposal in your Gmail, or you attach it to a mail and send it to someone, okay, that person may download it on his or her own computer, or may not download it. He might just view it directly. That thing you have saved, say it is 2 MB, a business proposal that you saved in your Gmail, it is being held somewhere in the hard drive somewhere. So you think it is in the cloud, you are right? But that cloud is possible because there is a data center somewhere that is holding down everything you have in the cloud. And different organizations have their own data center. Many are contracting their own out. So I know that Airbnb, they are using Amazon's data center. I also know which other company, I know about other companies as well. Facebook is running its own data center somewhere. I've seen the pictures before.
Netflix.
Yes, Netflix also is using Amazon, right?
Yeah, it's Amazon.
Yes. So to all those movies you have on Netflix, do you think they are just hanging in the firmament so that when rain truly that's messy, reminds me? All right, so they are being held somewhere, okay, and where they are holding them is called what? Data center. Does anybody have any question? We've moved further. We've talked about cloud and data center. Does anybody have any question? Anybody? All right. So if there are no questions, let's just move into. So we are building on these basics. The first thing I said that we need is a what? We need a type 2 hypervisor, isn't it? To be able to create virtual machines. So I'll just show us how to download a type 2 hypervisor. So the one we're going to be using in this class is Oracle Virtualbox. All right, Oracle Virtualbox. I'll show us how to download it. Okay, it's straightforward installing it. Just be clicking OK, next, OK, next. But I'll show us how to download it so that in our next class, we'll now begin the installation. No, you can even install yourself. I'll show us now. We'll install, we'll launch it, and then we begin to create virtual machines. And we now move proper into Windows Server administration. So let's go to the cloud. Okay, so this is internet. Either you go to Google first, whichever one. I know it is 3 o'clock, so just give me 3 minutes. Okay, and then if you type download Oracle Virtualbox, can we all see my browser?
Yes.
All right, so if you type download Oracle Virtualbox in Google, this is the link that comes out. Now, the one you're downloading is the one that has the link that has www.virtualbox.org. All right, so just click on that one, Oracle Virtualbox. All right, so once you click on that, it takes you to the website, www.virtualbox.org. See it here, download VirtualBox 6.1. You also click on it. All right, it will now ask you VirtualBox 6.1 platform packages. For you that you are running Windows host, you click on host. For you that is running MacBook, you click on where? OS. So I'm running on Windows. I'll click on Windows host. And the next thing is what? It shows me the another window pops up and asks me where do I want to save the download file. Either I save it in desktop or I save it in download. So I'll just say save. I want to save mine in my download file, and then I'll click save. And what you see here is the software is downloading. Are you with me?
Yes.
All right. So once this can download complete, you go to wherever it is being downloaded, and then you double click on it. Well, let's just wait for it to download. All right, so download complete. You open the folder and you say double click. Preparing to install. At this point, this wizard is going to tell me something about the installation. So, okay, just be saying next for your own. Just be saying next. See, create a start menu, create a shortcut, register file association. You say next, all these ones. All right, so it's saying installing the Oracle Virtualbox networking will reset your network connection and temporarily disconnect your network. No problem. Say yes, proceed to install. Okay, so setup is ready to begin custom installation, install. Like that, like that. So you see that we didn't do anything special. Right, so let everybody download it. It's something you can do right now. However, I wouldn't want you to do it now. I would want you to focus in class. Okay, just take note of this, except if you are using another device to connect. Because if you are connecting and you're also on the internet, it might make your system drag. So why this one is taking time, I know is because I already have it installed. So first, you would go and check that registrar that, okay, there's a registry like that on the system. I expect it to come and ask me that I already found one. Do you want to uninstall that one before I install this, or you want to repair that one? But for you, you will not have that situation because you don't have it already installed on your host. So please go ahead.
Have a question.
Please ask your question, sir.
When I click on OS as OS X host,
Yes.
so yeah, it took me down to double click on this icon, Virtualbox PKG. Then 2, run the Virtualbox application from the application folders.
Okay, so this is what it's saying. If you download the VirtualBox package, that is PKG, it will download something like this for you. So it is you that you will now go and run it. Okay, but if you click on the second one, it will install directly from the website on your system. That means you will not have the installation software resident on your local hard disk. But with this one now, if I delete it, I don't need to go to the internet again. I just come here again and download. Did you get?
Okay, yeah.
So use the one of PKG.
Okay.
Right, so that you can always have it installed. You can have installation folder on your resident on your hard disk. Anybody with any other question before we move on? Questions, please. All right, so how has the class been today? Can I get a feedback? Audibility, explanation, analogy, instances. Do you need give me remarks? What do you need us to do? Are we too fast? Are we too slow? Are we too basic? Are we too advanced?
So far, so good.
So far, so it's very granular. So well explained. So it's a good one, a very good one.
Right.
No, for me, it's good. Okay.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, so I think
One question: if you have a Oracle VirtualBox installed, and what do you do? Do you take the repair, or you have to go on install?
okay, so if you have it installed already, why do you want to install
No,
another one?
just asking me. My own is an
Okay,
old.
so for me, it depends on what I want to do. I might ask you to repair it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say repair it. It will just look through and see if there's anything wrong initially. Okay.
Right.
Or if I click on install, it will first uninstall it and then install the new one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a very straightforward. And so let me also chip in. This thing we are installing is not as though because we want to teach you in class. That's what I'm telling you. Even in this is real life situation. Okay, so you get offices and they ask them which kind of Hyper-V type 2 Hyper-V they're using. They tell you they're using Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Others will tell you they are using Windows Hyper-V. All right, and they're using it for real life. So this is not like, okay, even though we might not have an organization, a corporate network, which we work for, okay, but what we are teaching right now is what you will see when you step into a production environment. All right, so it's just an additional information. If there are no other remarks, if there are no questions, I think it's a convenient point for us to break today on when Monday next week will continue. Okay, so what I'll also do is on the class page, I will send us 2 links. All right, I will send us 2 links to download Windows Server and Windows Client. Okay, so that we can download it ahead of time. Does that make sense? It will save us time a lot.
Yes.
All right. Although when we come to class on Monday, I'll show us how we navigate to that point of getting that link. Okay, nothing is going to be hidden in this class at all. We are taking everything from the basics. And the good thing about live class is when you run into trouble, you troubleshoot together, you resolve it. Just like on Saturday, I was taking another class, but this time on the Linux, and we ran into trouble. And they were like, how do we do? I said, don't ask me how do we do. I've taught you guys Windows, and that was the last class in Linux. It means you guys already have a very sufficient knowledge of what we are doing. So let's begin to troubleshoot together. Our systems are not communicating, both the server and the client. Okay. And I was impressed with the suggestions they were giving me. Like, so you guys are ready to go already, right? Because of what we've done. And we resolved it there and there in class. So that's one thing about live classes. YouTube video is a near perfect one. Whoever is developing it would not want to waste time to make you see where it's troubleshooting, right? It just want to show you smooth algorithm or stepwise of things to do, all right? But when you are doing it, you might, if you're not careful, run into trouble. What do you do? So I prefer live classes, all right? And I also prefer live class videos because you see people ask questions that help other persons to learn. I have a guy in the other class. He has no CS background, but I'm marveled at the kind of intelligent questions he's asking in Linux. He started with us in Microsoft. All right. He has so much immersed himself in the training such that he's not asking questions as though he has a CS background. Okay, and because of the questions he's asking, he's making us trainers, right, to teach more, even the things that are slightly out of the curriculum. Did you get? So if we make our class interactive, if we go back to do our lab, our practice, when we come back to class, we answer questions, you know more, it also builds your confidence like that. One of them, yeah, one was okay, the other didn't take the offer. Two of them actually got the offer, one took it, the other didn't want to relocate, so they didn't take the offer, and they are doing well. So all this is to say that we have our part to play as trainers, and you as well as trainees have your part to play. And your part is, as much as we do in class, please find time to go and do your labs. Okay, do your practice. That's the only way you can be sure you know it. Okay, if we are lucky, we don't run into trouble in class, we don't get to troubleshoot, and everything goes smooth, it doesn't mean you know it until you're able to do these things without looking at books. All right. I also encourage us, when you are watching the videos, the playback, right? Make notes. Make notes. The sharpest brain is not as good as the faintest pen. So when you make notes, right, it will help you reduce the time you will have to recourse to the video, to be skipping between videos. When you make notes, when you are doing your practice, you can refer to your notes, which you have developed in the language you understand. Okay, how you understand it, because it is your own, it is native to you. All right. And when you make notes, practice until you're able to work without the note. So these are handy advices that will help us. Are there last remarks? Or we can terminate the class now. All right, so if that's it, how we are going to download our Virtualbox. Does anybody have any question or concern? Okay, so there is none. We'll continue on Monday. I wish us all a good time. And please, if you have questions, post it on the WhatsApp page.
So the class is gonna be for Wednesday and Monday, right?
Yes, sir. Mondays and Wednesdays, the same time, 3 hours.
All
Yeah, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. CST. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.